Welcome everyone, I'm Dale and this is Cinema Historia. A shipwreck, a lone survivor, and an obsessed game hunter. This week we're going back to 1932 for an American horror film called The Most Dangerous Game, starring Joel McCrea, Fay Wray, Leslie Banks, and Robert Armstrong. And this is directed by Ernest B. Shadzik. So, where does our story begin this week? Well, our story begins on a voyage in South America. Passengers on a luxury yacht are sailing through a channel off the northeastern coast of South America. Among the passengers is big game hunter and author Robert Rainsford, or Bob, played by Joel McCrea. When discussing the sport of hunting with the other passengers, Bob is asked if he would exchange places with the animals he hunts, replying, "I hope I never have to." Meanwhile, the captain of the yacht, looking at the map charts, notices the marking lights are both out of position. With his concern, he confides with the owner of the yacht that the lights are a little off according to the charts. With the owner replying, "The charts are never up to date in this part of the Pacific," the captain is ordered to proceed. A second concern by the captain stating, "We are nearing Barranca Island, an area of shark-infested waters and dangerous coral reefs," is still ordered to go ahead. Soon after, the ship runs aground, taking on water, and explodes. Dodging the explosion and sharks, Bob, being the lone survivor, is able to swim ashore to nearby Barranca Island. From the shore, Bob notices the channel lights off the shoreline change and suspects the ship was deliberately led off course to its doom. Discovering a chateau on the island, Bob becomes the guest of expatriate Russian Count Zaroff, a fellow hunting enthusiast. Familiar with Bob and his writings, Zaroff introduces him to two other shipwreck survivors from a previous incident. Eve Trowbridge, played by Fay Wray, and her alcoholic brother Martin, played by Robert Armstrong. Pampering his guests with food and wine, Zaroff tells them his obsession with hunting has become boring until he discovered the most dangerous game. Eve, suspicious of Zaroff, tells Bob that the two other sailors that survive with them have not been seen since each visited Zaroff's trophy room. So, were the marking lights deliberately repositioned? Is Barranca Island territory for big game hunting? Or has a mad Russian count cured his boredom? Based on a 1924 story in Collier's magazine by Richard Cannell called The Most Dangerous Game, this film earned RKO Pictures a profit of $70,000 or $1.3 million equivalent today. British magazine Time Out called it one of the best and most literate movies from the great days of horror. With a 100% rating from the film critic Rotten Tomatoes, this film is included among the American Film Institute's 2001 list of the top 100 most heart-pounding American movies. And I totally agree. And our trivia question this week: did an injury interrupt the career of someone who starred in our film? Did an injury interrupt the career of someone who starred in our film? So, a little more history and the answer to our trivia question coming up next. This week we're going to dive into more history about our film and another film that it relates to. So, envisioning a spectacular budget was changed when RKO Radio Pictures stepped in and capped it at $202,662 and setting a 3-week shooting schedule. A new budget eliminated veteran actors Lon Chaney Jr., Leon Ames, and Ray Milland. The biggest factor to save time and money was to use some of the actors and sets for two movies, the other movie being King Kong of 1933. The Most Dangerous Game was filmed at night on the same sets used later in King Kong. The producing team, Ernest B. Shodsek and Marion C. Cooper from The Most Dangerous Game, co-directed King Kong. 4 of the same actors were used for both movies, being Fay Wray, Robert Armstrong, James Flavin, and Noble Johnson. Fay Wray, playing Eve Trowbridge, switched to Ann Darrow for King Kong. Fay wears her hair in its natural brunette color, then switches to a blonde wig for King Kong. Robert Armstrong, playing the alcoholic brother Martin, switched to Carl Denham for King Kong. James Flavin, playing first mate, became second mate Briggs in King Kong. And Noble Johnson, one of Zaroff's servants, became the native chief in King Kong. Even our film's co-director, Ernest B. Shodsek, appeared at the end piloting a plane in King Kong. Jungle sets were used for simultaneous filming of jungle scenes, including a famous log bridge set with matted background. Some of the screams of the sailors as the ship sinks are the same as the screams of the sailors in King Kong when Kong shakes them off the log. A deleted waterfall scene in King Kong was used during a chase sequence in The Most Dangerous Game. The front gate was used for both films, with eventually being burned down in the Burning of Atlanta sequence of Gone with the Wind in 1939. The preview version of our film was 78 minutes, but with cringes and shudders from the preview audiences heading for the exit, some shots disappeared, making the running time 62 minutes. RKO Radio Pictures showed huge dividends for both films, revolutionizing special effects and leaving a lasting impact on the film industry worldwide and inspiring other genre films. And I think you would really enjoy this one. It doesn't have stop animation in it like King Kong, but since it's 62 minutes, I think you would enjoy something that's action from start to finish. And the answer to our trivia question this week: did an injury interrupt the career of someone who starred in our film? No, it did not. During World War I, Leslie Banks, who plays Count Zaroff, suffered a disfiguring injury that paralyzed the left side of his face. Not letting this injury interrupt his career, he went back to the stage after release from service in 1918. Within 6 years, he became an international stage star and one of the most popular British actors on Broadway throughout the 1920s. And this movie marked Leslie Banks' film debut. Yes, you think it's makeup, but it's actually not, and it looks quite menacing. He really does a fantastic job. I'd like to give out a big thank you for everyone tuning back in this week. And don't be scared. Please click like and subscribe and keep my channel alive. I hope everyone has a great week. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope to see you back next week.